There is a moment in life when pain stops being something that happens to you and becomes something that reshapes you. It doesn't announce itself. It doesn't ask for permission. It arrives quietly or violently, and suddenly the person you were before no longer exists. You don't notice it at first. You think you'll bounce back. You think time will fix it the way it always has. But this pain is different. This pain stays. It rewrites your reactions. It changes how you trust. It alters how you love, how you hope, how you see the world. And for a long time, you might believe that pain broke you, but it didn't. It changed you. And change, no matter how painful, is not the same as destruction. Pain doesn't destroy you all at once. Pain works slowly. It chips away at innocence. It pulls apart illusions. It forces you to confront truths you weren't ready to see. You didn't become guarded overnight. You didn't lose your softness in a single moment. You learned it through disappointment, betrayal, loss, abandonment, failure, through moments where you gave your best and still weren't chosen, where you trusted deeply and were hurt deeply, where you showed up fully and were met with silence. That pain didn't harden you because you were weak. It reshaped you because you were human. You didn't break, you adapted. What people call broken is often just adaptation. You became more cautious because recklessness cost you something. You became quieter because your honesty was once ignored. You became selective because access to you was once abused. That isn't damage. That is intelligence shaped by experience. You didn't shut down because you couldn't love. You shut down because loving without protection hurt too much. And there is nothing wrong with protecting what has already been wounded. Pain forces you to see what you were avoiding before the pain. You overlooked red flags. You ignored your intuition. You tolerated what didn't feel right because you wanted things to work. Pain stripped away denial. It showed you who people really were. It showed you what you were settling for. It showed you how much you were giving without receiving. And once you see those truths, you cannot unsee them. That clarity is painful, but it is powerful. Pain separates illusion from reality. There is a version of you that existed before the pain, the version that believed effort guaranteed outcome, that love always protected, that good intentions were always enough. Pain shattered that illusion, but illusions don't build strength, truth does. And the truth is this: life is unpredictable, people are imperfect, and love does not come with guarantees. Pain didn't rob you of hope, it refined it. The strongest people were once very soft. If you feel like you've changed too much, ask yourself this: what did softness cost you? You were open, you were trusting, you were generous with your heart, and someone or something taught you that vulnerability without boundaries can wound deeply. So you learned. You didn't lose your softness. You learned when and where to use it. That is not bitterness. That is wisdom. Pain teaches you self-respect before the pain. You stayed too long. You explained too much. You waited for people to become who they promised they could be. Pain taught you when to walk away. It taught you that love should not feel like constant anxiety. That effort should be mutual. That respect should not have to be requested. Pain taught you your limits. And limits are not walls, they are foundations. Healing is not about returning to who you were. Many people try to go back after pain, back to who they were before the loss, before the heartbreak, before the disappointment. But you cannot go back, and you shouldn't want to, because that version of you didn't know what you know now. Healing is not about undoing change. Healing is about integrating it, taking the lessons, taking the strength, taking the clarity, and building something better. Pain changes how you love. You love differently. Now, not less, just wiser. You no longer chase people who hesitate. You no longer romanticize inconsistency. You no longer confuse intensity with intimacy. You look for safety, for presence, for effort that doesn't require begging. That is growth. And growth often looks like distance from what once felt familiar. Pain reveals who stands with you in moments of suffering. Clarity arrives fast. You see who shows up. You see who listens. You see who disappears. Pain teaches you the difference between proximity and support. Some people are close only when life is easy. Others stay when it gets heavy. Pain teaches you to value depth over numbers. You didn't become cold. You became careful. People may tell you that you've changed, that you're not the same, that you're distant, that you're guarded. They're right, but what they don't understand is why. You didn't change because you stopped caring. You changed because caring once came at the cost of your peace. And peace is not negotiable anymore. Pain builds emotional maturity. You don't react the same way anymore. You pause, you observe, you respond with intention instead of impulse. Pain taught you restraint. It taught you that not every battle needs to be fought. Not every explanation needs to be given. Not every loss needs to be chased. That emotional maturity was earned. Pain helps you find yourself in losing something or someone you found yourself. Your values, your boundaries, your strength. Pain forced you inward, and while that journey was lonely, it was necessary because you cannot build a strong life on external validation alone. You had to learn how to stand without applause. You are not behind, you are becoming. Pain often makes people feel delayed, like everyone else is moving forward while you are still healing. But healing is not delay. It is preparation. You are not behind, you are becoming. And becoming takes time. Pain doesn't mean you failed, it means you tried. It means you cared. It means you risked. And that is not failure. Failure would have been never opening your heart at all. Pain is the cost of participation in a meaningful life. One day you'll see the pattern clearly. One day you'll look back and see how everything connected, how the heartbreak redirected you, how the loss refined you, how the disappointment strengthened you. You'll see that what felt like an ending was actually a turning point. The pain that changed you was a teacher, not a punishment, not a mistake, a teacher, one that stripped away what was false, one that demanded growth, one that forced you to rise. And while you may not be grateful for the pain itself, you will be grateful for who you became. You are still capable of love. Pain did not ruin your heart. It taught it discernment. You are still capable of deep connection, joy, laughter, and love. You just won't give it to what can't hold it. You are stronger than you realize, not because you never hurt, but because you kept going while you hurt. You adapted, you learned, you survived, and survival is not weakness. It is resilience. This pain was a chapter, not the whole story. This chapter was heavy, but it was not the end. There are still moments ahead that will remind you why you endured. Moments of peace, moments of clarity, moments of love that feels different, healthier, steadier, safer. You were never meant to stay the same. Growth requires friction. And pain was that friction. It shaped you, it refined you, it prepared you. You didn't lose yourself. You found a stronger version. And as you continue forward, carry the lessons, not the weight. Carry the strength, not the bitterness. Carry the wisdom, not the fear. The pain that changed you was never meant to break you. It was meant to build you into someone who could survive the storm and still believe in the sky beyond it. Someone who knows their worth, someone who honors their boundaries, someone who understands that healing is not linear, but it is possible. And as long as you keep choosing growth over resentment, clarity over denial, and courage over comfort, your story will continue unfolding, not defined by what hurt you, but by what you became because of it. And that becoming is still in progress. And for now, continue and don't stop so that you can continue later. And as that becoming continues, you start to notice something subtle but profound. The pain no longer sits at the center of your identity. It's still there, yes, etched into your memory, woven into your story, but it no longer defines every choice you make. It no longer speaks first. It no longer dictates your every reaction. Instead, it becomes a reference point, not a residence. You stop waking up with the ache as the first thought of the day. You stop measuring your worth by what you lost. You stop replaying the same moments, hoping the ending might change if you look at them long enough. And when that happens, you realize something important. You didn't heal by erasing the pain. You healed by outgrowing it. Outgrowing doesn't mean forgetting. It means carrying the lesson without carrying the wound. There will be moments when the pain tries to return, not as suffering, but as fear. Fear of trusting again, fear of opening up, fear of being seen. And that fear will sound reasonable. It will say, remember what happened last time. It will try to convince you that distance is safer than connection, that isolation is protection, that numbness is peace. But you are wiser now. That avoiding pain also avoids growth. That safety without connection becomes loneliness. That a guarded heart may survive, but it doesn't truly live. So you learn a new balance, you open yourself slowly, you trust selectively, you give access intentionally, not because you are afraid, but because you are aware. The pain also taught you patience. Patience with your own healing timeline. Patience with the fact that some answers never arrive. Patience with the understanding that closure is often something you give yourself. You stop demanding that the past makes sense before you move forward. You move forward anyway. And along the way, you begin to notice how your standards have changed, not in a rigid way, but in a grounded one. You no longer chase intensity. You no longer mistake chaos for chemistry. You no longer believe that love has to be dramatic to be real. You start valuing consistency, emotional availability, the quiet reassurance of someone who shows up without being asked. At first, this kind of love may feel unfamiliar, even unsettling, because your nervous system learned to associate unpredictability with connection. But slowly, you retrain it. You teach your body that calm is not danger, that peace is not boredom, that safety does not mean loss of passion. The pain also gave you discernment. You can sense misalignment faster. Now, you can feel when words and actions don't match. You no longer ignore that subtle tightening in your chest when something feels off. And instead of doubting yourself, you listen. That inner voice, the one you once silenced, that voice becomes your guide. You begin to realize that strength is not loud. It doesn't announce itself. It doesn't need validation. Strength is the ability to walk away without explaining yourself to people who have already shown you who they are. Strength is choosing peace over proving a point. Strength is trusting that what is meant for you will not require you to betray yourself to keep it. And perhaps the most important thing the pain gave you is compassion. Compassion for yourself. Compassion for others who are still hurting. Compassion for the version of you that didn't know better yet. You stop judging your past decisions so harshly. You understand that you did the best you could with what you knew at the time. And instead of shame, you offer yourself grace. As you continue forward, you also begin to recognize that not every painful experience was meant to be healed in the same way. Some wounds require forgiveness, some require boundaries, some require distance, some simply require time. Healing is not a single road, it is a landscape. And you are learning how to navigate it with patience instead of urgency. You start to redefine success. Success is no longer about proving something to the world. It's about alignment with yourself. It's about waking up without heaviness, about choosing relationships that feel reciprocal, about building a life that doesn't require constant self-sacrifice. And that kind of success cannot be rushed. The pain also taught you humility. It showed you that strength does not mean invincibility, that needing help is not weakness, that breaking down does not mean you are broken. You learned how to ask for support, how to rest without guilt, how to admit when something hurts, and that honesty, especially with yourself, became a foundation. You also realized that healing does not make you immune to pain. You will still be disappointed, you will still lose people, you will still face moments that hurt. But the difference now is this: pain no longer defines you. It informs you. It no longer knocks you flat, it bends you, and you rise fast. And as your story continues to unfold, you understand something that once felt impossible. The pain that changed you was not a curse. It was a passage into self-awareness, into resilience, into clarity. And while you may never be grateful for the pain itself, you are grateful for the strength it revealed in you. So you keep moving forward, not perfectly, not without moments of doubt, but with intention. You keep choosing growth over bitterness. You keep choosing truth over comfort. You keep choosing to believe that your story is still unfolding, because it is. And there are chapters ahead that will feel lighter. Chapters that will remind you why you endured. Chapters filled with connection, peace, and purpose that only someone who has been through the fire could truly appreciate. And as long as you keep walking, carrying the lessons, releasing the weight, trusting the process, this journey continues, shaping you gently now instead of violently, teaching you that pain was never meant to be your ending, only your transformation, and that who you are becoming is still revealing itself, moment by moment, choice by choice, breath by breath.